But actually,
No,
okay, go ahead. I'm pulling something up.
Go ahead.
So this is what reminds me of this article. Or here, let me send it to you too. Actually, I have it on the notes right now. It's that link at the bottom. So the Smithsonian, they had like this African American History Museum display. I don't know. I've never been to the Smithsonian's before,
Yeah.
so what I understand is like just these like giant museums in DC. But they had like this part in the museum. They took it down now because people were complaining about it. But there was a section of it where they were talking about race and the aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the U.S.
Oh no.
Yeah, if you click on that and scroll down a little, you'll see like this like pictograph thing. And so it reads, white dominant culture or whiteness refers to the ways white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the U.S. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we all have internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color. So the first one is rugged individualism. And I don't think, and like stereotypically speaking, Asians are more like a collectivism or collectivist culture. So this one might not apply.
We're communists.
Exactly. We're comrades. But yeah, this one I wouldn't say applies too much to us Asians, but so this is talking about white culture. It says the individual is a primary unit, self-reliance, independence, and autonomy, highly valued, rewarded. Individuals seem to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve. So then the second one is family structure. The nuclear family, mother, father, 2 to 3 children is the ideal social unit. Husband is the breadwinner and head of household. Wife is homemaker, subordinate to the husband. Children should have their own rooms, be independent. I feel like that's something that, like typical Asian families that I've come across believe as well, right? Like we basically grew up like that. We had our own room.
That looks identical to an Asian household.
Emphasis. Okay, so the third one is emphasis on scientific method. Objective, rational, linear thinking, cause and effect relationships, quantitative emphasis. And that to me is kind of like insulting. It's like, what, only white people can be that scientific? Like there's plenty of, other cultures that are just as scientific. And
hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. So let's go back up. So this whole thing seems
talking
like it's making
white
out
people.
whiteness to be bad. Yeah, it's making it out to be like a bad thing. That's what I'm getting. So if you break it down, family structure. The nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children is the ideal social unit. Okay, 2.3 children
I think
inside.
they mean 2 to 3.
Father and mother.
2.3 children doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that does look funny though.
Sure. Or I was thinking it was like an average.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like an average of children. Maybe like the average household is 2.3.
That makes no sense. Okay, yeah, no, you're right.
But I'm like, having father and mother, that's a white thing? And if we were like anti-white, say we don't like white people because we feel oppressed by white people, is it implying that we should go against what's bad, what we deem as bad, and say don't have a father and mother in the household, and in fact don't even have children, and just be alone forever? That would be the ultimate fuck you in your face, white people. Second point, husband is breadwinner and head of household. Is it saying that if you want to give the middle finger to white people or white culture, hey men, don't be the breadwinner. Don't be the head of your household. Don't take responsibility for your life and be an idiot. Be lazy. Be a deadbeat. Right? I don't know. Wife is the homemaker and subordinate to the husband. Most women, I would say, and I'm not saying this is all, okay? There's anomalies in both realms. Like obviously there's some men, they really don't want to be the breadwinners. They're more nurturers. They're more like nurturers. And there's some women that are just like, I am career driven. Yes. But at the end of the day, I would like to think most people would like to have children one day.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like it's almost like a biological thing. Like at some point you go, maybe I need to get an education. Oh, at some point, I think I need to get a job. Oh, at some point, I need to, buy a house. Like it's in us to kind of like progress in some way. And if it's not in those like, stereotypical ways of like progressing through life with these like certain,
milestones,
traditional milestones, then it's career.
Yeah.
Like what do you want to do with your career? And you focus on it. And you do it to the best of your ability. But most of us want to have children, and if we do have children, the burden of having a kid, a baby, is going to be on the mom. And I think from a biological standpoint, it also makes sense that the mom is going to be at home to nurture the baby as much as they can, because they're the one providing the milk. They're the ones, obviously there's a lot of like scientific things that have developed, like we can buy formula now, all these things that kind of free up the mom to stay working and whatnot. Nothing wrong with that. But from a biological sense of how a woman's body and just how that dynamic between man and wife is, whatever, I do think the wife is meant to be a homemaker, and subordinate to the husband. I think you could pull out a very wrong meaning of that. And what I mean is like subordinate, I think sounds bad. It sounds like like the husband is the higher power, and the woman just needs to like listen to the man. And I don't know if that's true. I think, to me, I do think the husband and the wife are more of a team. And I feel like this right here, this writing here is kind of slanderous, I would say.
Absolutely.
To kind of make this whole home life to be a bad thing. Like, if I know anything about being married, is that what really works best is to be a team. In the team, say you're in sports, one player, say you're in volleyball, right? There's like two players on each side. We've seen that
volleyball?
In the Olympics, right? I'm assuming we have. I think volleyball. Like there's always one short volleyball player
on each side, but yeah.
Oh, like the two-man
I guess so.
ones.
I don't know.
Because I'm thinking about the Olympic volleyball players that the famous ones, the U.S. ones. It's like a tall blonde chick and like a shorter brunette chick.
But okay.
Like they're in the Olympics like every year. Point is, one lobs and does all the stuff that short people are better at, and the other one is taller, so they stand by the net and they can do all the spiking, over the net, and they're also good at blocking, right? And they both have unique attributes. They could do different jobs, but they're all for the same goal. So to me, like being married is kind of like that. Like one's a man, one's a woman. They have unique attributes that make them succeed in certain avenues. And if it was the other way around, not that it can't happen, but I think it'd be harder. And so because of that, working towards the same goal, it seems to be the game. And there's different jobs required for working towards the same goal. And to me, that's what being married is, having a husband and wife. Children should have their own rooms and be independent. If that is a bad white culture thing, then are you saying that children should not have their own rooms?
Independent.
And they should be completely dependent on their parents or something? Like that's just backwards. That's completely backwards. Like I'm glad you brought this to my attention, because this is actually, the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm getting pissed off about it. Because I don't care if this is the hallmark of white culture, but to me, this seems to be the foundation to life itself. I can envision cavemen, Neanderthals adhering to this. Like Neanderthals need to stick together as a pack, because there's so many predators back then. I think there was fucking dinosaurs and gigantic mammoths that was going to just stab them through the heart and take them on wild journeys on their tusks. And there's just like human ornaments on their tusks. You got to stick together and protect each other. And the only way one of the best ways to do that is to have a nuclear family, have the husband be the breadwinner, and the fact that he brings back the bread. And I guess back in those days, it's been meat, bring back meat and berries and nuts and whatever you can scavenge for and hunt. Right. And then the wife is a homemaker. I don't understand why that is viewed as a bad thing. Do we have modern advancements now that can actually push that aside and kind of give more freedoms to people? Yes, and I embrace that too. That's fantastic. But to say the other way around is bad is nonsensical. All right. Second part, emphasis on scientific method, objective, rational, linear thinking. If that's bad, then you're saying irrational thinking is good. Irrational thinking is for the psychotic. Like people, you see like homeless people on the side of the street and they start talking to themselves and they're rubbing their ear and they're smacking themselves on the side of the head and they go to the skies. That is irrational, non-objective thinking. I don't know what the fuck they're on. And it's quite frankly, it's very scary to be next to someone that's doing that. So if you're saying that what objective, rational, linear thinking is good or is bad, that's fucking backwards to me. Cause and effect relationships. That's all relationships.
Yeah.
Causal and effect. That's just like that's life. You can't have an effect of anything without something causing it to affect. Like that's like I don't even understand that. Like without cause and effect, without a cause, nothing ever actually happens. Quantitative emphasis, like that's just being able to orderly do things. I want order in my life. I want to be able to control things and, build things, So if you can't quantitatively emphasize your life in ways that would expand your horizons, that's also very backwards. I don't know. I can go on this forever.
There's a lot. That's why.
This is fucking nuts.
I thought that. I mean, it's a real thing, and they took it down now, but. I think this happened like at the height of.
I'm glad this is still up.
Happened like at the height of like all the like the George Floyd stuff and all that, and this was like 2 years ago. So this is like old news now. But whenever you showed me that clip with that Vince Dow guy, this is what it reminded me of, because they were basically trying to argue against all the points he was making, and I was like, this sounds very similar to this.
So I think that if you're against whiteness in the sense of like you're against some of those talking points right there, you're kind of against progress.
Yeah,
I think you're against progress. Because in order to progress, you have to build upon something. But if you're willing to tear down everything that is now and not even listen to history, not even listen to anything that is relevant because it's like patriarchal, it's like it's part of the patriarchy. Fuck it.
I mean,
destroy
this
it,
right
burn it.
here is
Down
like
with it.
the hallmark of what cultural Marxism is.
Yeah. You must know that, don't you? Communist.
This is what I do.